Addiction is brutal. It doesn't care about your status, your fame, or how much money you've made. For some Black movie stars, it became a constant battle that overshadowed everything else.
Yeah, everything. I wasn't living for myself. I was living just to, get high.
Behind the flashing lights and red carpets were real people fighting demons the world didn't always see until it was too late.
Where was God when you put that first line of in your system?
Right there.
Today, we're looking at 17 movie stars whose struggles with addiction cost them everything. And there's no better place to begin than with number 17, Whitney Houston, a woman whose voice defined a generation, but who unfortunately struggled with severe addiction.
At times. All? At times.
Whitney Houston had it all: the looks, the voice, the fame, yet addiction stripped away the very life she worked so hard to build. Her career defined the 80s and 90s, but behind the scenes, she was battling a dependency on that she later admitted to using heavily.
Crack is cheap. I make too much money to ever smoke crack. Let's get that straight, okay?
By the time she sat down for her 2002 interview with Diane Sawyer, the cracks were showing. That uneasy exchange, remembered for her blunt, "crack is whack" remark, revealed a woman trying to stand for herself while quietly crumbling. Tragically, Whitney's struggle ended on February 11, 2012, when she was found unresponsive in a Beverly Hilton bathtub. The coroner reported accidental drowning, with use and heart disease listed as contributing factors. Her death shocked the world, not just because we lost a voice and talent like no other, but because it showed how addiction can break even the strongest icons. Moving on, at number 16, we have Richard Pryor.
If I don't drink or use dope, then he stays asleep.
He was a legend who impacted the comedy world and film world at large, but behind the fame and comedic laughter was a man losing his fight with addiction. In June 1980, after days of freebasing, he doused himself with rum and set himself on fire, sustaining burns over half his body, an act that he later described as a suicide attempt. The chaos around his drug use pushed his wife away, who was his girlfriend at the time of the event. She said she came home to a scorched bed and moved out not long after because the crack pipe had effectively taken over his life. What made Pryor unique was his ability to turn tragedy into comedy. In his stand-up special Live on the Sunset Strip, he openly joked about the fire, using raw honesty to connect with audiences who loved him for being real. Pryor ultimately died at 65 after a heart attack mixed with the lingering effects of in December 2005, with years of hard living and illness shadowing his final chapters. He remains a legend precisely because he refused to hide the mess. He put it on the mic and let us see it, laugh at it, and reckon with it. Now, let's have a look at number 15, DMX.
That's why I'm still here.
Where was God when you put that first line of
Earl Simmons, who was popularly known as DMX, was a strong force both in music and on screen. With hit films like Romeo Must Die and Cradle to the Grave, and chart-topping albums, he seemed unstoppable. But beneath all that success was a lifelong struggle with addiction that began tragically early. He told Talib Kweli he first smoked a crack-laced blunt at age 14, courtesy of someone he looked up to.
God was right there.
And that's why God gives me the blessings that He's given me.
DMX spent years spiraling canceled tours, countless rehab sessions that didn't seem enough, and a string of arrests, including violent outbursts, impersonating the police, and tax evasion. Each relapse chipped away at his career, yet he also spoke openly about bipolar disorder and how his faith and family kept him fighting. "I haven't been high in more than a year," he told Dr. Phil, reflecting a man still battling but still hopeful.
God has a plan for me. I'm not worried about anything. Wherever I'm at is where God placed me at.
On April 2, 2021, DMX suffered a induced heart attack, later passing away on April 9, 2021, after being on life support for a week. His death was a devastating loss, and it was even worse that he left his family in millions of dollars worth of debt. Now let's look at number 14, Michael K. Williams.
And all of those things, I still felt unseen and unheard. And
Michael K. Williams was known for roles that left a mark: Omar Little in The Wire, Chalky White in Boardwalk Empire, but his personal life was a battle many never saw coming. He openly shared that he turned to drugs as a way to cope with trauma and pain from his past. A lot of trauma early on. "I was lost, self-medicating," he admitted in a 2020 interview.
Like those Hollywood star type of
I've done damn near everything but put a needle in my arm.
During the filming of The Wire, Williams sometimes showed up under the influence. Eventually, he sought help through a New Jersey church and confronted his struggles head-on. Unfortunately, on September 6, 2021, just days after finishing work on Lovecraft Country, he was found dead in his Brooklyn apartment from an accidental overdose involving and his death marked the loss of a brilliant actor whose authenticity on and off screen made him unforgettable. While Michael K. Williams' story is a reminder of how even the most talented can be pulled under, the next movie star's journey shows a different path, a man who faced addiction head-on and turned his struggles into a comeback that shaped one of the most enduring careers in Hollywood. Number 13. Samuel L. Jackson.
That was my drug of choice. Alcohol was my drug of choice. The choice was that was in front of me.
Samuel L. Jackson's rise to stardom is as remarkable as his battle with addiction. In the 1980s, while building a reputation in the New York theater, he became entangled in a cycle of alcohol and use. Despite the chaos, he maintained a professional demeanor, showing up on time and delivering his lines. His turning point came after a severe overdose, prompting an intervention by his wife, LaTanya Richardson Jackson, and their daughter. With their support, Jackson entered rehab in 1991 and has remained sober ever since.
And we'll get back to you. While they were learning to diagram sentences, I was reading Shakespeare and doing something because...
Emerging from rehab, Jackson channeled his experiences into his breakout role as Gator in Spike Lee's Jungle Fever. His portrayal earned him the Cannes Film Festival's Best Supporting Actor award, propelling his career into the limelight. Today, Jackson stands as a testament to resilience, using his platform to advocate for addiction awareness and inspire others facing similar struggles. Number 12. Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday was more than a singer. She also starred in movies like New Orleans and New Lady in Town, showcasing her presence on the big screen. But behind her legendary voice was a life consumed by and alcohol, addictions that would shadow her every move. Her struggles began in her teens and intensified as she navigated the pressures of fame and racism in the entertainment industry. Holiday's addictions led to arrests, deteriorating health, and tumultuous relationships, all while she continued to perform and record music. By the late 1940s, her career was hampered by convictions, and she spent time in prison, only to return to performing while battling withdrawal and relapse. Her health continued to decline, and in 1959, at just 44, she passed away from cirrhosis of the liver, compounded by years of substance abuse. Billie Holiday's story is heartbreaking. Addiction didn't just take a toll on her health, it slowly stole parts of her career and happiness, showing how even the brightest talent can be consumed by it. Moving forward, at number 11, we have 11, Diana Ross.
Supreme spaces. Now,
Diana Ross, an icon of music and film, is best remembered for her groundbreaking work with the Supremes and her starring role in the 1972 movie Lady Sings the Blues. While her talent brought her fame and adoration, Ross reportedly faced personal struggles with alcohol that quietly affected her life behind the scenes where no one could see.
To that chair. We'll begin, as always, at the beginning. In this case, my first question is the one that...
Insiders and biographers have noted that the pressures of constant public scrutiny, grueling schedules, and maintaining an image of perfection sometimes led her to lean on alcohol as a coping mechanism. It wasn't just alcohol that she was depending on, but also painkillers, which were prescribed for an old injury that was long gone. Though she never lost her career entirely, the toll of these struggles impacted her relationships and personal peace, making it hard for her to thrive. Despite these challenges, Ross remained fiercely committed to her art, often using music and performance as a refuge from her personal battles. Her story is a reminder that addiction doesn't always manifest in headlines. It can quietly erode the foundation of someone's life, even as they shine on stage or screen. At number 10, we have 10, Tracy Morgan.
you were this funny, zany.
But I was dying inside the first 2 years.
Tracy Morgan, beloved for his roles on 30 Rock and Saturday Night Live, has had a career defined by both humor and resilience. Behind the laughs, Morgan struggled for years with alcohol and prescription abuse, battles that were compounded by the pressures of fame and a demanding career in comedy. Not to mention that he was also a drug dealer. His addictions often put his health and personal life at risk, leading to moments of crisis that became turning points in his life.
But you know, that's
you sold
I sold crack, yeah, but I was a crack dealer with a heart of gold.
A near-fatal car accident in 2014 forced Morgan to confront his substance abuse head-on. During his recovery, he sought help through rehab and leaned on family and faith to regain control over his life. His journey from near death to sobriety is a testament to his perseverance and willingness to face uncomfortable truths about himself.
What was the wake-up call?
Losing my family. My wife wanted a divorce.
Today, Morgan continues to perform, using his experiences as material for comedy while advocating for awareness about addiction. His story is a reminder that even in moments of darkness, determination and support can help someone reclaim their life and career, showing audiences that recovery is possible. Let's have a look at number 9, Orlando Brown.
A lot of drinking is what happened. I was drinking a lot, and
Orlando Brown, best known for his roles on That's So Raven and Family Matters, experienced fame at a very young age. Growing up in the spotlight, he faced pressures that many adults struggle to handle, and this environment contributed to his battles with drugs and alcohol. Over the years, Brown's substance abuse became highly publicized, often leading to erratic behavior, arrests, and multiple setbacks in rehab.
Along with some drugs, heavily medicated with marijuana at the time.
His addiction not only impacted his personal health, but also sabotaged his professional life. Roles that might have propelled him further in Hollywood were lost, and his reputation became increasingly linked with legal troubles and substance abuse. Brown's story is a striking example of how early fame without proper guidance and support can magnify vulnerabilities and lead to life-altering consequences. Despite numerous setbacks, Brown has periodically attempted comebacks and sought rehabilitation, showing glimpses of the talent that once made him a child star. His journey serves as a cautionary tale about the harsh realities of addiction and the importance of support, awareness, and intervention in the lives of young actors navigating fame. At number 8, Howard Rollins.
Anything was happening. After telling an actor, no, I don't have the role, forget it, I walked into the office and the receptionist.
Howard Rollins commanded attention on screen, from his unforgettable role in Ragtime to his work on In the Heat of the Night. Off-screen, however, Rollins faced a battle that few audiences saw, a struggle with alcoholism and that gradually undermined his personal life and career. His addiction led to arrests and probation violations, and over time, limited the roles he could take, despite his undeniable talent. Friends and colleagues remember Rollins as brilliant but increasingly haunted by his dependence on substances. Even as he continued to perform, the pressures of Hollywood and the pull of addiction made stability difficult. His experiences highlight the stark contrast between the admiration he received as an actor and the challenges he faced behind the scenes. Tragically, Rollins' health and career never fully recovered from years of substance abuse, and he passed away at the youthful age of 46, leaving the life he was supposed to build behind. Let's have a look at number 7, Rick James. Rick James was larger than life, both on stage and on screen, known for his electrifying music and his role in The Last Dragon. But behind the wild persona and infectious energy lay a long battle with addiction, a struggle that would shadow his personal life and career. His substance abuse led to legal troubles, strained relationships, and erratic behavior, all of which ultimately undermined the success he had worked so hard to achieve. James's story is a stark reminder of how talent and charisma aren't enough to shield someone from the destructive power of addiction. While he continued performing and producing music, the highs of his career were often punctuated by dramatic lows, fueled by use. He was a man capable of incredible creativity, yet plagued by choices that sabotaged both his health and his legacy. Rick James passed away in 2004, leaving behind a complex story of brilliance intertwined with addiction. His life serves as a cautionary tale for aspiring artists navigating the temptations of fame. At number 6, we have Gary Dourdan.
Ask when you do have fans lucky enough to meet you.
Fame can feel like a dream come true, but for some, it comes with hidden battles that the public rarely sees. Gary Dourdan, the star of CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, masked a private struggle with substance abuse that threatened both his health and his career. Prescription drug use led to multiple arrests, probation violations, and setbacks that kept him from fully capitalizing on his talent.
Do the eyes. Do the smoldering.
His addiction didn't just affect him behind closed doors, it spilled into his professional life. Roles and opportunities that should have propelled his career were lost, and colleagues often witnessed the toll it took on his relationships and reliability on set. Despite these challenges, Dourdan has occasionally sought rehabilitation and attempted comebacks, showing resilience and a desire to reclaim stability. Now, let's have a look at number 5, Columbus Short.
Partying, I didn't have by myself, just wanted some clarity.
Hollywood success can come fast and sometimes just as quickly slip away. Columbus Short experienced that rise firsthand, landing breakout roles in Stomp the Yard and later on Scandal, where his charisma and talent made him a fan favorite. But what people didn't know was that, while he was progressing on screen, behind the scenes he was wrestling with alcohol and battles that would soon overshadow the very career he had worked so hard to build. The consequences were brutal. Addiction turned into domestic violence charges, probation violations, and public controversies that kept his name in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Casting directors backed away, opportunities disappeared, and the promise of a long-lasting career began to fade right in front of his eyes. What makes Short Story hit even harder is how quickly it all unraveled. One moment, he was on one of TV's biggest shows, and the next, his personal struggles had left him fighting to hold onto everything he had gained. Instead of being remembered solely for his talent, much of the conversation around him now circles back to the chaos of his personal life. That's the real tragedy, how addiction didn't just pause his booming career, but rewrote the way people remember him altogether. Moving on, at number 4, we have Todd Bridges.
Underneath the carpet.
Oh, really?
I did not know that house used to belong to a deal.
At one point, Todd Bridges was everywhere. Playing Willis Jackson on Different Strokes, he was the kid America couldn't get enough of, funny, talented, and destined for bigger things. But when the film was canceled, it seemed like the world was turning on him, and what he fell back on, unfortunately, was the addiction didn't just creep in, it consumed him. Arrests piled up, from drug possession to violent incidents, each one dragging him further away from the bright future that once seemed guaranteed. At one point, things got so bad he admitted to selling just to get by, a devastating reality for someone who had been on top of the world only a few years earlier. His personal life crumbled along with his career. Bridges spent years cycling through rehab programs, trying to outrun the addiction that had taken control of everything. Relationships broke down, trust disappeared, and the same industry that once embraced him now kept its distance. Todd did eventually find sobriety and even turned his painful past into something redemptive, working as a motivational speaker to warn others about the dangers he once ignored. Still, his acting career never returned to what it could have been. At number 3, we have Nelson Ellis.
What does that mean exactly?
That means he channels the dead.
Nelson Ellis was best known for his unforgettable role as Lafayette Reynolds on HBO's True Blood. His portrayal of the sharp-tongued, unapologetically bold character made him a fan favorite and showcased the depth of his acting ability. But while audiences adored him, Nelson quietly battled a long struggle with alcohol and drug addiction. Friends and colleagues described him as warm and brilliant, but addiction clouded his personal life and ultimately his health. In 2017, he tried to withdraw from alcohol on his own without medical help.
I mean, when we're not working and we're on set, it's fun. It's a good group of people, Alan Ball.
Tragically, the attempt caused serious complications that led to heart failure, and Nelson passed away at just 39 years old. His family later shared that his addiction had been a painful, private battle he kept from the public eye. Nelson's death shocked fans and castmates, serving as a heartbreaking reminder that addiction doesn't discriminate, even against those who seem to have everything going for them. His immense talent was lost far too soon, leaving behind a legacy of powerful performances and a cautionary story about the dangers of substance abuse. Moving forward, at number 2, we have Carl Lee. Carl Lee may not be a household name today, but during the 1960s and 1970s, he was a powerful presence in film and theater. He starred in movies like The Connection, A Man Called Adam, and Superfly, often portraying gritty, complex characters that reflected the struggles of the time. Off-screen, though, Carl was caught in the grip of addiction. His use not only derailed his career but also led to devastating health consequences. He contracted AIDS through intravenous drug use, and in 1986, at just 53 years old, he died of a overdose. His tragic end reflected the darker realities of Hollywood, where addiction often claimed more than just careers, it took lives. What makes Carl's story especially heartbreaking is how his raw talent and potential were overshadowed by the silent war he fought against. Though he isn't as widely remembered as other actors of his era, his life stands as a haunting reminder of how addiction can rob even the most gifted performers of their future. Finally, at number 1, we have Bobby Brown.
Living for myself. I was living just to, get high.
There was a time when Bobby Brown was on top of the world. From his breakout with New Edition to his explosive solo career, he became the face of R&B's bad boy era. He didn't just conquer the charts, he tried Hollywood too. Bobby Brown showed up on the big screen and TV in everything from a cameo in Ghostbusters the Second to a bigger role in Martin Lawrence's A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, and later parts in Two Can Play That Game and other films. His hits like My Prerogative made him a cultural force, and his stage presence had fans convinced he'd be around forever. But as his acting resume grew, the darker side of his life got louder. Years of and later crack use spilled into arrests, DUIs, and headline-grabbing incidents that shifted attention from his work to his troubles. By the 1990s, the public was watching less of Bobby the artist and more of Bobby the controversy, as his reputation shifted from superstar to troubled figure.
We did drugs together. There was no introducing.
His turbulent marriage to Whitney Houston only added fuel to the fire. The two became tabloid fixtures, with their relationship often overshadowed by substance abuse and volatility. What could have been B's power couple turned into one of the most infamous cautionary tales in music history. In the years that followed, Bobby made attempts at recovery, and there were flashes of the talent that once made him untouchable. But the damage was done. His career never returned to its peak, and his legacy remains intertwined with both brilliance and chaos. And there we have it, 17 movie stars who were badly affected by their addictions. Do you think we missed anyone? Then let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.